When Jackie filed for divorce from Doug, it wasn't just a legal move. It was a calculated shockwave, and the world felt it. The moment news broke that she was demanding a $300 million settlement, it instantly became headline news across every major media outlet. People were stunned. $300 million. From the outside, Jackie and Doug had always seemed like the perfect power couple. Rich, elegant, successful. The type of pair you see on the covers of magazines or walking red carpets, all smiles and glamour. No one saw this coming. Jackie was quick to take control of the narrative. Tearful interviews, emotional statements, public appearances. She played the role of the heartbroken wife flawlessly. She spoke about Doug's emotional distance, about how he changed after finding fame and fortune, how she gave up her dreams, her youth and years of her life to support him. "I stood by him when he had nothing," she said on a live interview. "I helped build his empire, and now I'm being discarded like I never mattered." It was powerful. The world believed her. Public opinion flipped against Doug almost overnight. Social media called him a narcissist, a gold digger's dream turned villain. Fans turned their backs on him. People who once admired his journey began to question everything. Speculations flew. Cheating, hidden affairs, secret children, manipulation. Everyone had a theory, and none favored Doug. But Doug? He remained silent. He didn't go to the press. He didn't tweet. He didn't respond. Instead, he started preparing, because Doug knew the truth. He had lived it. Behind the scenes, Doug was building a team, not just of lawyers, but of top-tier investigators, financial analysts, and digital forensic experts. He wasn't just defending himself. He was preparing for the biggest personal battle of his life. A battle not just for money, but for his legacy. What Doug uncovered behind closed doors was shocking. Jackie hadn't just exaggerated the truth. She had orchestrated an entire image of victimhood, while hiding a very different reality. There were offshore accounts, undeclared income streams, secret investments, all in her name and none disclosed in court. She had fabricated expenses, hidden properties, and even created false timelines to strengthen her case. To make matters worse, Doug's investigators found private messages and emails where Jackie bragged about how she would bleed him dry and make him pay for walking away. This wasn't heartbreak. This was strategy. In court, Jackie showed up as if she had already won. Dressed in high fashion, flanked by a team of celebrity lawyers, she looked every bit like a woman in control. She smiled politely, confident that everything was about to go her way. But Doug had been waiting for this exact moment. As his attorney stood and handed over a thick folder of documents to the judge, the room tensed. Slowly, the judge's eyes scanned the contents. Her brow furrowed, her jaw set. She looked up, then turned to Jackie's lawyers and asked, "Would you like to explain this?" The courtroom went silent. Jackie leaned into her lawyer, whispering rapidly, her posture suddenly tight. The confidence in her body language had vanished. What the judge was reading were not just documents, they were evidence, concrete proof that Jackie had misled the court, lied under oath, and hid millions in assets while pretending to be financially dependent. Everything began to unravel. Doug's team didn't stop there. They revealed timelines that contradicted Jackie's story. They showed that during the very years she claimed to be sacrificing for Doug, she was actually investing in private ventures, some of which Doug had unknowingly funded. Witnesses were brought in, old friends, former assistants, even a financial advisor, who all testified under oath that Jackie had been planning her exit for years, that she had always viewed the marriage as an investment. And now it was time to cash out. Jackie's image as the victim crumbled. Reporters who once supported her began changing their tone. "New evidence paints a different picture," one outlet wrote. Public sympathy shifted. Online polls flipped. Suddenly people began asking, was Doug the victim all along? And Doug? He didn't gloat. He didn't smile. He sat quietly as the truth unfolded, finally being heard after months of silence. When the judge delivered her ruling, it was clear. Jackie's claims had no solid ground. Her $300 million demand? Denied. In fact, she was ordered to return assets she had illegally hidden and penalized for lying under oath. It was a complete reversal. Jackie didn't just lose the case, she lost the public's trust, her reputation, and everything she thought she had secured. Doug walked out of that courtroom a free man, not just legally, but emotionally. He had protected his name, defended his truth, and revealed a side of the story that no one saw coming. In a world where perception can be manipulated, Doug proved that facts still matter, and sometimes the one who stays quiet is the one holding all the cards. The woman who once claimed Doug had deceived her was now caught in a web of her own lies. What began as a high-stakes divorce was quickly turning into something much darker, a full-blown legal scandal. Jackie's carefully curated image of being the betrayed, penniless wife started to crack, and what was underneath stunned everyone. Doug's legal team dropped a bombshell in court. While Jackie had been publicly pleading poverty and demanding $300 million, she had secretly transferred millions of dollars into hidden offshore accounts. The courtroom gasped. Even the reporters, who had come expecting a dramatic divorce, realized they were witnessing something far more serious, possibly criminal. Jackie's confident posture vanished instantly. The woman who once sat with a smug smile now looked pale, her hands trembling. This wasn't just about a marriage falling apart. This was fraud, and the worst part? Jackie wasn't acting alone. Evidence revealed that others had helped her, including people she trusted. But what Jackie didn't know was that Doug had been aware of this for a long time. He'd played the long game, letting her believe she was winning, while silently preparing to dismantle her entire case. Then came the final blow. Doug leaned forward and, in a calm, controlled voice, said, "Jackie, you've been lying about everything. Not just the money." A chill swept through the courtroom. The judge turned to Jackie's attorney, who looked as shocked as everyone else. Nobody had seen this coming. Jackie finally spoke, her voice shaky. "This is ridiculous. Doug just wants to destroy me because he doesn't want to pay up." But her outburst was quickly shut down by Doug's lawyer, who slid a fresh set of documents to the judge. As the judge read them, his eyes widened in disbelief. Doug's lawyer added with a smirk, "You know, Jackie, when you treat people badly, they don't stay loyal forever. Every single person who helped you cover this up, even your own assistant, has turned on you." The judge looked at Jackie. "Do you have anything to say for yourself?" asked. Jackie's breathing grew heavier. Her eyes darted around the courtroom. Then, in a move no one expected, she laughed. A cold, bitter laugh that echoed through the room. She looked Doug dead in the eyes, grinning. "You think I've lost because of this? Doug, you clearly don't know me. I always have a backup plan." Doug narrowed his eyes. "What are you talking about?" he asked cautiously. Jackie leaned in, her voice low and threatening. "You really think I didn't cover my tracks? If I go down, I'm not going alone. I know something you definitely don't want coming out. And if you push me, I'll use it." Doug's lawyer looked visibly alarmed. "Is that a threat?" Jackie's tone grew colder, more dangerous. "Call it whatever you want." Doug stared at her in silence, studying her face. "I'm not afraid of you," he said firmly. Just then, the judge slammed the gavel. "Court will recess briefly before we continue," he announced, as murmurs filled the room and people began to rise from their seats. Jackie turned towards someone in the courtroom. Melissa, her former assistant, the one who had testified against her. With venom in her voice, Jackie hissed, "You'll regret doing this, Melissa." Melissa stared back without blinking. "No, Jackie," she replied calmly. "I regret staying silent for so long." Doug watched as the guards led Jackie out of the courtroom. Her grin had faded. The tension was thick. He knew this wasn't over. Jackie had tried every trick in the book. But now, she was alone. Her lawyer sat silently beside her, unable to shield her any longer. The courtroom felt like a pressure cooker as the trial resumed, every eye watching her fall from grace. Doug, calm and focused, wasn't just fighting for money anymore. This was about justice, about restoring his name. His lawyer rose from the bench, papers in hand, and addressed the courtroom with quiet authority. Due to newly uncovered financial misconduct, all of Ms. Jackie's assets are now frozen pending a full investigation. Her request for high alimony has been denied. And next week, we will reconvene to explore criminal charges related to financial fraud. A heavy silence fell. Jackie's mask shattered. "You can't do this to me!" she screamed, rising from her chair. Her voice cracked as she turned to Doug in desperation. "Please, Doug, can we just talk? We can fix this." Doug didn't flinch. His face was cold, unreadable, but his eyes told the story. "Betrayal, hurt, resolve, talk," he said, voice sharp as ice. "You had no problem talking behind my back. To the media, to investigators. But now, we're probably done talking, Jackie." A wave of discomfort rippled through the courtroom. Jackie slowly sank back into her seat, defeated. The power she once wielded was gone. Her reputation, once polished and pristine, had been shattered by her own deceit. Melissa, her former assistant and closest confidant, stood in the back of the courtroom. She looked away, guilt on her face. Maybe she should have spoken. Out sooner. Maybe things didn't have to go this far, but the damage was done. Doug stood and began walking toward the exit, his attorney close behind. She knew what was coming wasn't going to be in her favor. Doug took a deep breath and turned to face her directly. "I stayed silent for years," he began. "I let you lie. I let you twist the truth. I let you destroy my image, my name, my peace, all while knowing exactly what you were doing." And with those words, everything shifted once again.